glad you could join us for today's news bulletin. My name is Fales Chizombe. First, the headlines. Pope Leo XIV to share lunch with vulnerable people in Castro Garov. High Court hears how state identified suspects in Dr. Victoria Bobby murder case. Government expects Mozambique-Malawi Power Interconnector commissioning before month end, pending tariff agreement. And in other news, Trump declares Iran ceasefire over as Gulf tensions shake global markets. We do have the details to these and more. Do stay with us. Pope Leo XIV is expected to spend time with about 200 disadvantaged people from the Diocese of Rome during a special gathering at Borgo Rauda in Castro Garov on Saturday, 11 July 2026. The program, known as Lunch with the Pope, will begin with the celebration of the Eucharist using the liturgy for the care of creation. Participants will then be welcomed with light refreshments before taking part in a guided tour of Borgo Rauda and later sharing a meal with the Holy Father. We have a Vatican News report read by Tandiwe Zumara.
The event follows a similar initiative held in August 2025 when Pope Leo dined with poor people from the Diocese of Albano. Under the initiative, different dioceses will be invited each year to bring together people facing hardship, including the poor, refugees, migrants, and others in vulnerable situations. This year's edition has been arranged through the collaboration of the Laudato Si Center for Higher Education, the Dicastery for the Service of Charity, and the Diocese of Rome. The event also involves various church institutions and organizations that provide support to vulnerable communities across the Italian capital. Cardinal Fabio Baggio, Director General of the Laudato Si Center for Higher Education, said that the gathering reflects Pope Leo's continuing concern for those living on the margins of society and highlights the Church's mission of offering compassion, attentive listening, and hope. Archbishop Louis-Marie de San Martin, Prefect of the Dicastery for the Service of Charity, said the Pope's decision to host the event demonstrates that genuine charity is expressed through closeness, personal encounter, and sharing. He noted that when the Church places the most vulnerable at the center of its life, it visibly proclaims the message of the gospel and reminds the world that everyone has a place in God's heart. Pope Leo's Vicar General for the Diocese of Rome, Cardinal Baldassare Reina, said the meeting with the Holy Father gives renewed recognition to individuals who are often overlooked and encourages the wider Christian community to strengthen its commitment to hospitality and solidarity. Organizers said the gathering embodies the vision of Borgo Laudato Si, where care for creation, human development, and Christian formation are brought together through practical experiences of participation, faith, and human encounter.
The state says today's court hearing has helped explain how police identified all 7 suspects accused of murdering Dr. Victoria Bobby after a police officer gave evidence before the High Court in Luntha. Speaking to Luntha television after the court was adjourned, Principal State Advocate Abu Dulimbe said the police witness Superintendent Christopher Pangetti explained how one suspect gave investigators information that led to the arrest of the others. Constance Kantameni has filed this report.
The court heard evidence from Police Assistant Superintendent Christopher Pangetti, who told the court that one of the suspects first came to police attention during investigations into another robbery case. During questioning, The suspect also spoke about Dr. Bob's murder and mentioned the other people allegedly involved. Limbe said the witness explained how information provided by one of the suspects helped police arrest the others, giving the court a clearer picture of how the investigation led to all 7 accused persons now standing trial.
So, after that particular video has been played, the accused person mentioning their roles in this particular offense, how they carried out the offense. Now the court has noted some issues that they want state to do.
The court also heard that 2 of the suspects are already serving a 14-year prison sentence after they were convicted of robbing 2 filling stations. The state is expected to call more witnesses as the trial continues. The High Court in Luntha began hearing the murder case on 7 July, and the trial is expected to continue until 10 July. Dr. Victoria Bob, a senior consultant at Queen Elizabeth Central Hospital and a lecturer at Kamuzu University of Health Sciences, was killed during a robbery at her home in Chigumula Township, Luntha, in November last year. For Luntha News, this is Constance Kamtemen.
The Malawi Human Rights Commission has called for urgent action to address the persistent exclusion of persons with albinism after a report revealed widespread barriers limiting their access to education, healthy care, employment, and other social services. Andrew Kavala, chairperson of the Disability Rights Directorate at the Malawi Human Rights Commission, made the remarks in Lilongwe during the launch of a report examining the social and economic empowerment of persons with albinism in Malawi. Gift Kalonga has filed this report.
Avara said the report found that many persons with albinism continue to face challenges in accessing quality health care and employment, with discrimination and misconceptions limiting their opportunities to participate fully in society. He noted that the findings also highlight the need for specialized health services that respond to the unique needs of persons with albinism. He emphasized that addressing the challenges requires collective responsibility from government institutions and the public, stressing that persons with albinism deserve equal access to services and opportunities. Kavara added that the Malawi Human Rights Commission will continue raising awareness and advocating for mindset change to eliminate discrimination and promote inclusion.
This is a barrier analysis report. We are looking at factors impending economic opportunities for persons with albinism in Malawi. The report has several findings, among which we are saying when you look at a number of factors, say education, access to education, there are a number of barriers that are prohibiting persons with albinism from accessing education, just like another Malawian. We are looking at the issues of health. The report also shows that the gaps still remain. Persons with albinism are going through a lot when it comes to accessing health-friendly services.
Association of People with Albinism in Malawi, APAM President Young Muhamba, welcomed the report, saying it validates the challenges faced by persons with albinism and urged stakeholders to turn policies into concrete actions that improve their access to healthy care, employment, and other essential services.
The findings are timely and they are complementing other pieces of research that have already been done. Last year, there was the National Action Plan initial stage where similar problems were established. Also, Malawi Human Rights Watch conducted another study which established barriers to economic empowerment for persons with disabilities.
Meanwhile, the Association of People with Albinism in Malawi, APAM, has urged the government, development partners, and other stakeholders to move beyond policy commitments and implement practical measures to improve access to health care, employment, and other essential services for persons with albinism. For Luntha News in Lilongwe, this is Gift Kalonga.
You are still watching Luntha News with me, Fales Chizombe. Before we proceed, another look at the headlines. Pope Leo XIV to share lunch with vulnerable people in Castle Gardof. High Court hears how state identified suspects in Dr. Victoria Bobby murder case. Government expects Mozambique-Malawi Power Interconnector commissioning before month end, pending tariff agreement. And in other news, Trump declares Iran ceasefire over as Gulf tensions shake global markets. Deputy Chief Justice Lovemore Chikopa has challenged newly elected members of parliament to serve Malawians with integrity, impartiality, and respect for the law. His remarks came as 3 members of parliament elected in the June 30 by-elections have officially been sworn in, marking the start of their parliamentary duties. The new legislators are Precious Kabambe for Lilongwe City Bwaira, Ishmael Japan for Machinga Mikoko, and James Makumula for Balaka Mulunguzi. Emmanuel Chucha has filed this report.
Deputy Chief Justice Chikopa reminded that their election is a public trust and urged them to discharge their constitutional responsibilities with integrity, accountability, and respect for the rule of law.
Honorable members, the oaths you have subscribed to today are not merely ceremonial. They represent a binding commitment, a solemn undertaking to uphold the Constitution, to act in the public interest, and to serve the people of Malawi with integrity, impartiality, and diligence. You now carry the mandate to legislate, to provide oversight, and to represent the aspirations and concerns of your constituents within this chamber.
Speaking after taking the oath of the office, Precious Kabambe, the newly elected MP for Lilongwe Bwaira constituency, expressed gratitude to the electorate for placing their confidence in him. Kabambe pledged to prioritize development in the constituency with a strong focus on improving sanitation and fulfilling the commitments he made during the election campaign.
We already have obvious things that we already discussed with my constituents. Now I just need to go back and establish what are the roots of our problems and where do we need to collect. We must decide as a constituency which areas do we need to improve. An issue of sanitation, we have some buildings that have long lived. We need to come together and make, at least to help each one, the business people and of course the residents.
The swearing in of the registrators marks the beginning of the new chapter of representation for their people, and expectations are now high as constituency look to the new MPs to translate the campaign promise into tangible development. For Luntha News in Lilongwe, this is Emmanuel Chuocha.
Government says the Mozambique-Malawi Power Interconnector project is expected to be commissioned before the end of this month, saying the remaining task is the conclusion of tariff negotiations between Malawi and Mozambique. Minister of Energy Jean Matanga disclosed this in Parliament on Wednesday as he responded to questions from members of Parliament on government's efforts to improve electricity supply and expand access to power across the country. Charity Shilanga has filed this report.
Minister of Energy Jane Matanga says construction works on the Malawi side of the interconnector project have been completed, while all works in Mozambique, which had delayed due to challenges around the Zambezi River, have now also been finalized. Matanga said the two governments are currently negotiating electricity tariffs to ensure that the cost of imported power does not place an additional burden on Malawian consumers.
Yes, actually that financing was toward Kapishira power station. At Kapishira we do have some components that were off-grid, and we requested the African Development Bank to come in and assist us, and you may wish to know that I think as we speak, one of our dams at Kapishira power station is just working temporarily, so that money was actually given to Malawi to assist us to rehabilitate that dam so that at least we operate at full capacity.
The minister further told Parliament that Malawi continues to face a power deficit, generating about 551 megawatts against a national demand of more than 700 megawatts. She said the government is addressing the gap by diversifying electricity generation through solar and hydropower projects, including the Mpatamanga hydropower project, which is expected to add about 380 megawatts to the national grid once completed. Matanga also urged members of parliament to continue submitting electrification requests through district councils for consideration under the Malawi Rural Electrification Program and other electricity access initiatives.
And in other news, U.S. President Donald Trump has declared that the memorandum of understanding underpinning the ceasefire with Iran is over, saying further engagement with Tehran is a waste of time. He made the remarks while speaking at a NATO summit in Ankara, Turkey, after the United States launched overnight strikes against Iran, marking a renewed escalation in hostilities between the two countries. Tandem Zmara reading a Reuters news report.
Washington said the operation was in response to Iranian attacks on 3 commercial vessels, including Qatari and Saudi tankers transiting through the Strait of Hormuz. The United States military said the latest strikes targeted Iranian military assets to protect international shipping and deter further attacks along one of the world's busiest oil transit routes. Iran responded by saying it launched missiles and drones at United States military bases in Bahrain and Kuwait on Wednesday, warning that it would continue to retaliate against what it described as American aggression. The renewed exchange of attacks has heightened fears of a wider conflict across the Gulf, with governments and international observers closely monitoring the rapidly deteriorating security situation. Financial markets reacted sharply to the latest developments. Brent crude oil surged 6% to $78 per barrel, while European stock markets fell 1.6%. The United States dollar strengthened and government bond yields rose as investors sought safer assets. Analysts say the renewed conflict has increased concerns about disruptions to global energy supplies, higher inflation, and greater volatility in financial markets, with the collapse of the ceasefire raising uncertainty over prospects for stability in the Middle East.
That Reuters news report read by Tandem Zumara concludes our today's news bulletin. Before we leave you, another look at the headlines. Pope Leo XIV to share lunch with vulnerable people in Castro Garov. High Court hears how state identified suspects in Dr. Victoria Bobby murder case. Government expects Mozambique-Malawi power interconnector commissioning before month end, pending tariff agreement. And in other news, Trump declares Iran ceasefire over as Gulf tensions shake global markets. My name is Fales Chizombe. Thank you so much for watching. Keep it Luntha TV and goodbye for now.